Welcome to the Saints Happy Hour podcast with host Ralph Malbrough and featuring bloggers Andrew Juge of SaintsNation.com, Kevin Held of The Team Drops the Ball, and Dave Cariello of Canal Street Chronicles. This podcast is nothing but serious football talk and hardcore analysis.
Which four of you would survive the longest in the zombie apocalypse, and in which order would you die?
Well, Ralph, no offense, you're going first.
Oh, definitely. No.
The zombies would smell Dave's sugar blood and target him.
They'd get his... I don't even have a joke, Dave. Dave smells like nougat. Now here's your host, Ralph Malbrough.
All right, welcome to Saints Happy Hour podcast. As always, we are sponsored by you, the fans. We got the Saints Drunk History. I recorded it with the Bird Rights, Preston Ellis. It's on Jim Everett and the end of the Maury years. It is a total mess and disaster because I was shit-faced and I could barely run the equipment. Preston had to step in and do the recording for me. That's how bad it was. It's a rambling disaster. Some people like it messy. Some people like it nice and clean and organized. It is not clean and organized.
No one likes it messy.
Nobody likes it clean and organized.
When it comes to our podcasts, no one likes shitty sound.
No, it wasn't shitty sound. Just Preston had to run it because I had issues. The sound is perfect. It's just. It was kind of a rambling mess. It went from Jim Everett to the decline of Jim Mora to Mario Bates getting punched in the face. It's all over the place. But if you enjoy the end of the Mora years and you want to learn more about him, you'll find it very informative. And I butcher Preston's poor name in a way that I should be sent to Gitmo. So we're doing the podcast. We're 2 weeks away from the draft. To start the podcast off, I got some new graphics. I paid tens of dollars for new graphics for the website. And I put on a poll today, is our new graphics worse than cancer? And 70% of you people said, yes, our new graphics are worse than cancer.
Yeah, but the comments were...
The comments were bad.
Hilarious.
People said that they look like diapers. What is that mold on the lettering?
Who was it? Was it Todd Newberg?
Yeah. Did you...
Are we in the trust tree here?
Are we in the trust tree?
Can we be honest here for a second? And Ralph's like, yeah, give it to me. It fucking sucks. It's terrible.
Did you let your son do the graphics? Yeah. I especially like the one that said that the letters look like diapers. So maybe
No, it was the color. It was the color that looked like something you would find in a diaper.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is what people don't realize is that this is after at least 2 edits. I mean, you presented this to Andrew and I, and a week ago, and Andrew gave a very thorough and detailed list of what he thought should be changed about it, and most of all of those changes were made, and it's still.
Can we agree that two rounds ago it was even more unacceptable?
Well, that's the thing. I just want people to know that I was not alone in this. I didn't go off on a thing and just drop it in there. Like, it was collaborative.
You kind of did.
No, you were alone. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You were alone because Andrew was like, "This isn't very good," and I even went so far as to come up with a new one, and then you just fucking ran with it anyway.
Well, I mean, we're working on yours. Yours is going to be better. The thing is, like, I felt like we had to get the ones that were done by Sir Gumbo, which are nice, but we had to get them down because they had the Saints logo on them, and I feel like we may be getting the letters. We were on the verge of maybe or maybe not getting the letter to take it down because we were using the Saints logo, so it had to come down. So, like, this is just a placeholder. Dave's going to work on the graphics. I just want to let people know that it wasn't all me. Like, we collaborated, and it was still terrible. Although I'll take the lion's share of the blame. But I like our listeners being honest that they are worse than cancer. So there. So, Andrew, we have actual football news. The Saints. I've never been more excited in my entire life for a 60-catch receiver that has one leg. The Saints got Cameron Meredith. We were pumped about it.
We didn't think it was going to happen.
I thought it was.
You did.
I did.
Andrew and I did.
So, Andrew, you're pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I am surprised. I thought the Bears would match. I mean, I thought there was some hope in that the Bears had signed a few guys, and I think at the end of the day, the one thing that really helped the Saints was that the Bears invested in Allen Robertson, who is coming off the same issue. And so he tore his ACL last year. And Meredith, I think he had an ACL and an MCL, so his injuries.
Yeah, you can't have
serious,
$20 million guaranteed to two wide receivers with busted up knees.
Yeah, you can't be investing in the two broken guys at the same position. So I think it was smart. I think it was smart for the Saints to go after him. Now his injury is significant, so it's a big risk, but I think the upside is huge. And the investment isn't so much. Like it's really
not
like
that much of a risk.
If he's awful and they have to cut him next year, it's not that big of a deal.
It's 1% of the fucking cap. That was my thing about these NFL writers saying it was so risky and it's the Saints could do something and this might preclude them from doing something in the draft. And why are they spending money on this injured player and blah blah blah? It's fucking,
wait, hold on. What would it preclude them from doing in the draft?
Because if they invested, if they gave Cameron Meredith $4.6 million, why would you pay about the same for a draft pick if you just signed Meredith? Like that was the thought process from Chris Wessling, I think, from NFL.com.
That's the most brain dead argument.
No, I mean they can still do whatever the fuck they want at wide receiver.
It precludes them from doing nothing in the draft.
I mean, Dave, do you think that do you think that Cameron Meredith? Do you still think it's likely that they pick a wide receiver / tight end in the draft early with one of the first two picks?
I think it's very likely they'll pick a tight end, more so a tight end than a wide receiver. But no, I don't think that signing Cameron Meredith just, the Saints are locked down now at wide receiver. That's it. They're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, I
just think best wide receiving core in the league.
But I will say this. I like this move a lot, because I'm very confident that Ryan Pace made the wrong decision. Whatever he'd have done would have been wrong. Like if he'd have kept Meredith, he would have not healed up, and they would have had to cut him next year. If he lets him leave to the Saints, he's going to catch 85 balls. Like I'm very confident, Andrew, that Ryan Pace is going to make the wrong decision because he's terrible at his job. And that's my theory. It's based strictly on that. Is that solid reasoning or no? Are you people laughing at me, or are you nodding your heads?
I'm nodding. I'm with you.
So, Dave, Willie Snead is still hanging out. He's going to work out. He's at the facility doing all this stuff. Does Willie Snead have a future with the Saints?
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah, I think he does. So what? Hasn't been tendered. He's got no contract.
He hasn't signed it yet.
He's got the tender.
He hadn't signed it, but he signed the waiver or whatever, so he can go and do off-season stuff, right? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's a foregone conclusion he'll be signing.
Andrew, you think that?
Do I think Snead's coming back? Yeah. I think it's a foregone conclusion. I mean, I think his one shot was maybe the Ravens, where they worked him out, and did the Ravens end up signing a receiver? Didn't they sign Crabtree?
Yeah, they did.
Yes, I think they were poking around, but they were just like, we want to see who else is available, and we might make you an offer. And
they tried to get Meredith too.
They did. I mean, you got to remember the Saints are offering him 1 year, $2 million, right? That's the tender.
Yeah.
So I just, I don't think the Ravens are going to offer him more than that. Although maybe now that the Saints have signed Meredith, I mean, it's not over, so they could still make an offer to Snead. And him going to work out with the Saints maybe lets other teams know that he's close to just signing the tender. And so if they want to make an offer sheet, that puts a little pressure on them. But I expect him to be back and sign it. His year was so bad. I don't think anyone would sign him to anything more than a prove-it deal right now.
Dave, I know it's a really early prediction, but Willie Snead on the roster opening week?
Yeah, barring any injury, I think worst case scenario, I'd say he's your fourth guy or your fifth guy, I guess.
Andrew, because they still have a lot of slots they need to fill at wide receiver.
I'm going to say something crazy here. I think Snead is kind of a dark horse prediction here. I think Snead is going to come to camp. I mean, he's healthy, so I think he's going to come to camp focused. I think he's going to be pissed off at how his year was, and I think he's going to come out of the gate and just have an awesome camp and really turn some heads. And Ginn's getting a little bit older, and Meredith, I still think Meredith could be good for the Saints, but I think it might take a little while because he's coming back from his knee. So
yeah,
I could see early in the season Snead kind of being the number 2 receiver.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, Ted Ginn, there is a high probability. There's one of 3 things that can happen with Ginn. He can repeat last year, his best year ever. He can get old and deteriorate very quickly, or he can go back to being Ted Ginn. And 2 of the 3 are bad. And look, if he goes back to being Ted Ginn, it won't be terrible because Ted Ginn is.
That's not that bad. I would take that.
It's not bad, but he was fucking awesome last year, and especially in the playoffs, man.
Well, if he wasn't Ted Ginn last year, then what would you call him?
That was the Ted Ginn that the Dolphins thought they were drafting like a dozen years ago.
Yeah. Well, I don't disagree with you. I want you to call it a name.
Yeah. That was the we picked him 10 or we picked him 8th. He's going to be a franchise wide receiver, Ted Ginn.
Right. Yeah. So I think this is a huge opportunity for Snead because I still think while they, Ben Watson is back and he's going to catch some balls, and Kamara, is going to step up and have maybe more involvement in the offense this year. And you got Meredith and you got Ginn there, but I think early in the season, as Meredith's kind of coming back from his injury, they might draft a guy and maybe he takes a little while to acclimate to the offense. So there's a window there for Snead in the first quarter of the season to reestablish himself, and I think he's going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, he has got to be just like knowing how. I mean, he flushed at least if he'd have caught 80 balls last year, like if he'd have repeated 2016 last year, he might have not signed with the Saints because the Saints might have not wanted to pay him, but he'd have got at least 4 years, like $24 million, like $10 million guaranteed, like easy. So he flushed it a good $10 million down the toilet with his DUI and his shitty season. Speaking of wide receivers, Dave, the Saints, according to Ian Rappaport, are one of the teams interested in Dez Bryant. How do you feel?
Oh, really? When did that come out? I missed that.
That was a tweet.
Was that while I was playing tennis?
I guess it was, yeah. It was a tweet and a little.
How many other teams are interested?
Baltimore. There was like 4. It was the Saints, Baltimore, and I forget who else. But it was.
Did you know this, Dave?
Yeah.
No. I don't pay as close attention as you and Ralph do. But I'm not on Twitter all day, every day. I mean, I'm thinking about calling your employers and calling HR.
Yeah. The Ravens.
My employer's going to tell you to look at my booking numbers. And
that's what they'll tell me. That's what they'll tell me, too. They'll say, Ralph hit his web numbers again.
Yeah.
Growing the Instagram.
As far as they're concerned, I can be on Twitter all day long.
you see, that's not the way your boss is going to look at it. Your boss is going to look at it. Hey, if you can do that while you're on your phone, just imagine how fucking great you could be if you got off your goddamn phone.
Hey, man, I need some stress relief.
Exactly. It's not like
it's
not like he's on Pornhub or something, Dave. It's Twitter. I mean, come on.
It doesn't matter. It's time theft.
Wait. We said I'm not on Pornhub.
What's Pornhub?
Get the fuck out of here, Dave. What's Pornhub? No, the Ravens are the team most interested in Dez Bryant. He was born to not catch passes from Joe Flacco. It's Dez Bryant, I tell you.
That's his destiny.
Ooh.
I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, odds the Saints sign Dez Bryant, Andrew.
You know what it is? This is exact. I mean, I haven't seen the report, but I mean, obviously I believe you. But I think that I could be wrong, but I just think this is going to be a Muhammad Wilkerson type thing where it's just like, yeah, we'll take you, Dez. We're interested for like 1 year, $3 million.
Not even that. Like, I think he gets the
Loomis will throw out like a kind of like a just token offer out there. and he'll sign with the Ravens, who will give him twice the money.
Maybe three times the money. They love old receivers.
I think this is another one of those Loomis low ball. Take it if you want. We hope we get you. We're not paying $1 more.
I don't even
really showing him the love.
Yeah. So Dave, the Saints with free agency with Meredith, it's kind of wrapped up pretty much. I mean, unless Dez Bryant, but I think it's fair to say like the Saints have wrapped up free agency and they're not going to do anything more big or interesting. So now that it's pretty much done, how do we feel about it? Now that Cameron Meredith is in the barn and it's pretty much done and we're waiting on the draft, how do you feel about the Saints free agency?
I don't really feel any better or worse than we last evaluated the Saints free agency and gave our feelings on it. I think it's fine. I'm okay with not signing some big names and not making the big splash signings. That's okay. That's not necessarily how you build a Super Bowl winning team. It seems like they're just continuing to add depth, which I like. And again, like we've always been saying, it seems like the Saints have been really good at showing restraint as far as contracts and not overpaying and saying, hey, look, these are our terms. And like Andrew just said, this is what we're willing to do. And we're not really going to be willing to do more than that.
Andrew,
it's kind of what they've done with a lot of guys this offseason.
Yeah.
Jimmy Graham.
Breeze, hell, they kind of did it. They played Russian roulette kind of with Breeze and was like, hey, take it or leave it, buddy. But Andrew, did the free agency, did the Meredith move kind of slide the grade up just a little bit? Not like from, it didn't change it greatly, but did it bump it any for you?
Oh, the offseason?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Meredith,
definitely. I mean, it's not even that like I know for sure that he's going to work out or that I think it makes the team substantially better, but I think it increases the margin for error. I mean, I think you still need to get a receiver, and it's kind of like Ben Watson. You still need to get a tight end, but at least you've got another guy in there that can compete and potentially help you this season. And if he doesn't, you just have more margin for error, and it's okay because you got other guys that can step up. So, I kind of look at this as like Manti Te'o type signings. Like, he didn't play earlier in the year, but we were really glad we had him.
Oh, my God, we were.
He was playing pretty well. I mean, he wasn't like a world beater, but he was playing pretty well, and it was way better than like having to deal with Stephon Anthony out there.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not saying that Manti Te'o was responsible for the Saints making the playoffs, but a UDFA playing linebacker instead of Manti Te'o could have really fucking wrecked the season. And Meredith is a guy, he might come on, take a while, and then you're like, he's not doing anything. He's inactive a lot. The knee's kind of bugging, and then coming along. And then post-Thanksgiving, you're like, oh, he caught 5 balls today. He looks pretty good, So yep. I like it. I think it moved their grade up to me for like a B+. I wanted them to sign bigger guys. I like them to spend money. I like them to be reckless. That's how I roll. But I like what they did. I mean, they got a bunch of guys. They filled a bunch of holes, and I
think the only the
filled a bunch of holes
must have done something well. But I the main thing for me is I just I can respect the Saints being frugal. Jimmy Graham, it just would have been fun. And that's the part about this. I think both on the field, just because he would have made a major difference, but also just as a fan, like rooting interest wise, like to me, that's the real bummer of this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, that's you're exactly right. And it like we have the jerseys in the closet, they were ready to go, and I hope he does terrible in Green Bay and he regrets what he did. But they paid him a shitload of money, so it'll keep him warm. So the other interesting thing.
Wait, so did you see these tweets, these rumors about the crazy trade rumors?
I have not. We have what crazy trade rumors do we have?
Well, I mean, it was like 5 hours ago. It's not Saints. Well, I don't know whether it's Saints specific or not. Yeah, Daniel Jeremiah was like some crazy trade rumors floating around today, and then Bucky Brooks retweeted it, and he said, "Crazy rumors. If it happens, it's going to make Draftnik's head spins. Draftnik's head spin. It's bananas." And then hashtag QB chasing. So could it be the Saints? Would the Saints do something crazy?
That's a great segue, Dave, because the thing I was going to talk about next is they had an article in the Advocate today that Sean Payton basically took a giant dump on the quarterback class and was like, they're all garbage except for Darnold. Andrew, is that fair? I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically...
No, I think he said they're all garbage, period. And if there's one that I could see maybe sticking around for 4 years,
it'd be Darnold.
It's Darnold, but I don't see anyone in this class that is like a Carson Wentz or Andrew Luck. So it's not like he said Darnold was great. He was just like the less shitty, basically. Was his
I mean, it was the thing is, so Andrew, when I read that, I talked to you and I was like, look, I think that is Sean Payton being really honest, because if they draft a guy, then he has to come out at the press conference and be like, just kidding, buddy, and kind of talk it off. Or he's like, if they all work out in 5 years, he'd be like, you don't really know quarterbacks. But you flipped it around. I was like, no. This convinces you completely that Sean Payton is full of shit and they really want a quarterback. So explain your theory.
Well, I'm just thinking that he, and I could be completely wrong about this, obviously, but I just when Sean Payton says that, I start to wonder, is he angling for, like, what? Why would he has no real reason to put that out there. Like, I just feel like if Sean Payton's putting it out there, there is a purpose beyond just criticizing some players. You know, that there's a point to it. I just don't think, as much as he hates talking to the media, I don't think he's kind of like putting that out there just for as a soundbite for people to talk about the draft. I think there's a purpose to it. And so that gets me thinking, and it gets me wondering, does he hope that some of these younger coaches will see that quote and think to themselves, maybe if they're on the fence, oh my God, Sean Payton, the most respected offensive mind, says all these guys are terrible. And if he thinks they're terrible, maybe I shouldn't draft them. And maybe that pushes them down. And then, secondly, maybe it's no one really suspects the Saints want a quarterback, and then boom, blockbuster's trade, and he hops in front of someone to get a QB when no one was expecting it. So, it could be like he's baiting people into maybe going after a quarterback, or he's trying to push them down the hierarchy of the ladder. But I don't know. It makes me wonder if there's not a little smoke here.
Well, it's interesting because Eric Galko, who
little smoke screen,
is a little smoke screen. Dave, what's your thought on it? Is it
on why he said that?
No, on why he said it, and is he lying? Is he telling the truth for once? Like, what is your take on it?
I mean, I'm kind of with Andrew. I mean, it's not really like Payton to
why would he put that
go out of his way to say these kind of things in that manner
and blast.
I mean,
and even if he believed that, why would he hurt these kids' stock?
Yeah. Interesting. I mean,
there could be something to it.
Well, because the thing is, late last week, like the Lamar Jackson to the Saints thing really picked up momentum, and we're going to talk to Eric Galko, who's of Optimus Scouting, as our special podcast for the draft. We'll record it this week. It'll be online early next week or late this week. And he was, remember Andrew last year, he was like, remember Ramczyk for the Saints. They like him. Remember that name. He said that when he interviewed him. So he's kind of plugged into the Saints, and he was like, man, Lamar Jackson to the Saints. I'm just hearing it. And he's a guy Ramczyk wasn't an obvious name for the Saints last year, and he called that. So when he starts talking about Lamar Jackson to the Saints, I listen, and we'll get some more out of him. But
well, hold on. So and that's it'll be great to have him on the show again. But I just think the more I think about this, if Sean Payton truly hated these quarterbacks, wouldn't he keep his mouth shut? Wouldn't he want teams to pick him?
Yes.
Pick them? Wouldn't he want all 5 to go in the top 15.
Yes, he would be. You'd pump them up. That's a great point, Andrew. Like if he really hated him, he'd be like, "I love them all." Like I think Josh Allen. Yes.
He if I am Sean Payton and if I hated these quarterbacks, the first thing I'd be saying in the media is, I really believe like we might have a draft class where 5 QBs could be, in the league 10 years from now. Now, you don't want to be so ridiculous that like people bring up the quote, 5 years from now and point out what an idiot you were. But I don't know, man. I don't feel like he would be saying this.
As long as you're not
he'd keep his mouth shut if he truly wanted these guys picked.
Yeah, but as long as he's not Bino Cook saying he's going to win 2 Heismans or they're going to be 5 Hall of Famers. I mean, he could have just flipped the quote around today and say, hey, I think you're going to have 3 or 4 guys that are going to be in the league being starting quarterbacks in 5 years.
Here's the other thing. He said that he wasn't envious of teams picking early because it's, there's a lot of stress and pressure to get the next best quarterback. And he said that he didn't feel great about picking these quarterbacks in the top 10. Nothing was mentioned about picking these guys at 27.
Dave, he changed my mind. Andrew, you did it. You changed my mind.
Nice.
So, Dave, as you
very nice.
If only my wife was so easy.
My wife.
Negotiate
very
with.
nice.
So, Dave, does this make you think that it's more likely the Saints are picking a quarterback at 27? Less likely?
Hello?
Yeah, Dave, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. No, you dropped out there.
Sorry. So,
I don't know. I'm actually reading the actual
quote.
Yeah, well, it's more than a quote. I mean, it's
a whole article.
It's a good paragraph or two. I don't know. I don't really. I'm really torn. I could go either way on this. Part of me just thinks he was just really shooting from the hip and being honest, and Peter King kind of, because this is from Monday Morning Quarterback with Peter King.
Yeah.
And part of me just feels like King is just, this was the angle King's taken, and he's kind of not taking it out of context, but he's just presenting it in a way maybe that it wasn't necessarily intended. The original quote was intended just for a splashier headline and a splashier, a juicier article. So part of me feels that way. The other part of me feels that it could easily be, be a conspiracy like we've just discussed. If I got to pick a side, though, I don't know. I don't think it means as much as we do.
The interesting thing that I don't have it, and it's something that I'm sure maybe the Nick Underhills or the beat writers, maybe they track it, maybe they don't. But I was listening to a podcast with Mike Lombardi, who I don't really like his take on things, but he made an interesting point about what NFL teams do is, you can have 30 visits, right, Andrew? You can bring in 30 guys pre-draft. Is it 25 or 30?
30, yeah.
30. And he says what NFL teams do is they track everybody's visits, right? And they have a board of everybody's visits of who they visit, and they track it over 3 or 4 years. And some teams just have people in for fucking visits to smoke screen or whatever. But he's like, Green Bay, when Ted Thompson was there, when he had people for visits, they had a high percentage of picking those guys. And I wonder, like, the Saints, like, their percentage of dudes that visit do they draft them? Because they had Lamar Jackson in a visit and they've had other guys. I just wonder what the percentage would be in the last, 5 years, because that could be an interesting piece of data that you could use to try to figure out if they like a quarterback or not. I'm sure that percentage isn't high, but if it's higher than other teams, that would be something interesting. I still think Lamar Jackson is interesting, but I just think it's low, and I just think there's going to be a team before 27 that's going to want him. That's my That's my thought. And I know Pittsburgh, when he had his workout at Louisville, they had like everyone there. Like Tomlin, the offensive coordinator, the general manager, like everybody was there. So I think he won't get there. So before we get to our themed mock draft of all offense, Andrew, what do you think the odds are that the Saints take 2 offensive players with their first 2 picks?
What positions with the first 2 picks?
27 and 91.
Assuming no trades, which I don't know how good of an assumption that is, I would say I would expect to see a tight end for sure, and a quarterback, and no particular order.
Okay.
So maybe the quarterback first at 27, and tight end 3rd round.
Dave, first offensive player, first 2 picks, you think, for the Saints? Odds?
Both of them being offense?
Yeah.
3 to 1.
Okay.
4 to 1.
All right, we're going to kick off this draft. In this draft, our theme last week it was names I can't pronounce. This week it's all offense for the Saints. Is there a name at 27 that we want? Is there a name on offense, Andrew, that you would say the Saints would be interested in trading up for, or you would be interested in trading up for?
I mean, I'm not trading up for a quarterback.
Is there a wide receiver or a tight end that you?
There's no. I like Dallas Goedert a lot. I don't see again. Like, I don't know that I'm trading up for him.
Yeah.
I would wait for him to fall because I'm fine with Hayden Hurst if Goddard's gone, and I would even consider Gesicki, although I like him less of those 3 tight ends, and I'd be fine getting Mark Andrews in the 3rd round. So, this is a decent class of tight end, and I think you can get a pretty good player in the 3rd round if you don't get one in the 1st round. I like Calvin Ridley, and if he's there
he got picked at
24,
22.
If he starts to drop, into the 20s, then that starts to maybe be someone that you consider. So, but there's no one in this class that I think the Saints have to have. I mean, they're a playoff team and a pretty good roster right now, and I just unfortunately I don't see them getting into the top 10 picks. But
Okay, well, the top offensive guy
left. Who's the best pass rusher? See, that's the thing. Like, I don't think there's a pass rusher outside after the top 15 that they can realistically go up and get.
Well, here's the thing. Since we're doing an all offensive draft and you're at 27, the top offensive guy left, Dave, is Darius Geis. So I know, Dave, you'll be totally against LSU because you hate LSU with every fiber of your body. And the next guy is Anthony Miller from Memphis.
Good receiver. Yeah.
Where would he fit if they?
Well, who give me the top 5 offensive players right now? Are you doing the simulation right
yes.
now? Yes.
Ronald Jones, Darius Geis, Anthony Miller, DJ Moore.
Well, wait, I'm only allowed to take offensive players.
Yes,
right?
you're only. This is all
So give me the top 5 offensive players.
Ronald Jones, USC running back. Never heard of him.
Okay.
Darius Geis, LSU. Anthony Miller, DJ Moore. We could do a trade. We could trade down if we so desire.
Who's the 5th best?
Let's see. The 5th best, James Washington, Oklahoma State. Guard, Austin Corbett, Nevada. If you're.
Well, who's the best?
That's so appealing.
What's that?
Who's the best tight end available?
The best tight end available, Gesicki, Goddard. You got them all. Hayden Hurst. They're really rated low in this draft.
All right, take Goddard. That's my pick.
He's rated 62 in this.
What about yeah, I don't care about your stupid rankings. What about quarterbacks? Is Lamar Jackson still there?
No.
He's gone.
Josh Allen is there. That's ridiculous.
Nah, I don't like him.
JT Barrett. So we're gonna go. You're gonna go tight end. You're gonna go Goddard at 60. You'll go Goddard at 27.
I mean, DJ Moore is tempting. Is he the best receiver, or Anthony Miller?
Anthony Miller is the best receiver. Dave, what would you want? I would vote Anthony Miller.
Yeah, I would take the receiver.
Okay.
But you would take Anthony Miller over DJ Moore?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about either of these two guys.
I just think DJ Moore is more. I mean, I know he's like a good.
Would you say he's more DJ?
He's got good size. He's got good speed. I mean, he's like a 4
in the phone book.
Speed, and I just think character-wise, he's more of a Sean Payton guy.
All right. Well, then we'll go DJ Moore.
Yeah.
Character guy. Okay, so we went DJ Moore. Do we want him? Like, is there?
I just feel like Anthony Miller, like he has ball security issues, and Sean Payton hates that.
That's gonna that poor ball security probably cost Brandon Coleman a job this year. So the tight ends are all still there. Do you think? Would you want to move to get Gesicki, Goddard, or Andrews or Hayden Hurst? You might be able to get Hayden Hurst in the third round of this draft, but I mean, do we want to move?
No, let's see what's left, man. Let's roll the dice.
Who
do we get? We got DJ Moore.
We got DJ Moore.
It's a good pick.
Yeah. So, Dave, what are you thinking as this goes? You don't want to move either?
What? Move up?
Move up into the second round or wait until 91?
No.
You know, I think if the tight ends go, it could be a case of they need a running. I mean, an offensive lineman too. You know.
It's true.
Yeah.
Come on, Jeff Ireland is telling you to stay put.
I'm getting nervous though. The tight ends are gone. You got Mark Andrews and Ian Thomas. And
Sean, feed Mickey one of your Vikings and let's all chill out a little bit
here. They got Orca Afora from Western Michigan, the tackle still.
Oh yeah.
The guy that I can't pronounce. He was a. So we're on the clock now. So we got the tackle from Western Michigan. We got the center Frank Ragnow, and we got.
He's pretty good.
I mean, Max Unger. He's not getting any younger. But we have Hayden Hurst there. That's your boy. And he's probably not.
Do you even need to ask me?
Dave, Hayden Hurst.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Is that
we're gonna have to pick up a lineman later, though.
Is that realistic, Andrew? That Hayden Hurst would be there in round 3?
The only way he would drop that far is his age. Like if he were younger, based on his skills and his production and his combine, all that stuff, he's a late first, early second for sure. So yeah, I think you throw the age factor in, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. I think the age factors into it, but I think once teams rate him and factor him in, like if he's rated number 45 on a team's board, they're not gonna not take him because of his age. Like they already.
The thing is, I could see him dropping to the third round, but I don't think he's gonna go all the way down to the Saints pick. You know what I'm saying? Like I could see third round, but then he'll be like the third player chosen in the third round.
All right, so we're on the clock again. And here's the problem is they got Cedric Wilson from Boise State is the best offensive player left. Kyle Laletta from Richmond is a quarterback. I watched a little bit of him on YouTube today. He's interesting.
The Saints worked him out.
And then running back John. They're not picking a running back. I don't think there.
Why are you watching YouTube video? Is this at work again? Why are you watching YouTube videos of Kyle Laletta?
Because I was eating my lunch, Dave. No, you work Nazi. I was eating my lunch at Potbelly, and I was watching YouTube clips because I like to be informed, and I care about the podcast, and I need to know. You know, I would never just watch a random YouTube.
That guy played football an hour for me, and I've never watched him. I have heard good things.
His arm's a little bit meh.
Noodly.
He's got a little bit of noodle. So that's where we are. Like he.
Hey, I could go for some Garrett Grayson 1.5.
So we got the tight end, we got the receiver. So he's at 134. The thing is, that's the thing. The Saints aren't going to be picking again until like. I mean, I don't think they'd go. You can't go receiver again. And
why not load up?
And the offensive line and. They got Toby Weathersby from LSU. He's 146.
Let's take the quarterback. Let's gamble on the small school kid.
Yeah. All right. So now we'll have 2 picks in the 5th round. This draft,
if nothing else, if this Richmond kid gets Tom Savage cut a little bit quicker, then he'll have worth the pick.
I don't even want to see Tom Savage take snaps in a preseason game.
That's right.
I will admit it.
If we cut the Richmond kid in a couple of years, but he allows us to not suffer through Tom Savage preseason, it was worth the pick.
Yes. You know what, though? I like the names Ralph couldn't pronounce draft better just on the players. This draft, I really, DJ Moore. I like Hayden Hurst, but DJ Moore, I don't know. His YouTube clips aren't as exciting, although I think it's because one of his YouTube clips is set to like
YouTube
is like it's not great music. That's the key to get
it never is. It never is, man.
You got it. Well, that's the key. They got to be set to. If they're set to good music, they got a good beat. I'm like, that player's pretty good. So we're on the clock. So Antonio Callaway, Florida.
You gotta name positions here.
Wide receiver Kiki Coutois. Is that how you say his name?
Kiki Kuti.
Kiki Kuti. He's there. We got running back Josh Adams, running back guard.
We need an offensive lineman, man.
Skylar Phillips. Yeah. Can he play both? Or I never even heard of him. I don't like the name Skylar.
You didn't watch his YouTube?
I don't watch offensive lineman YouTube, Dave.
Who's the best offensive lineman?
The best one is Skylar Phillips.
From where?
From Idaho State.
It doesn't matter where.
Wait. What position though? Tackle, guard.
Brandon Parker. Brandon Parker, if you like your small school, historically black colleges. NC,
well, that's
Carolina
how we got.
A&T.
Terron Armstead was a small college man.
Yeah. Cole Madison. That's another guard.
Who's the best tackle?
The best tackle is Brandon Parker.
Is that a major reach or?
We're at pick. Let's see. What pick are we on? We're at pick 147. He's 159.
Oh yeah.
Take
the tackle.
All right.
Yeah, that's good.
Brandon Parker, come on down. Where did he go to school?
He went to North Carolina A&T.
Oh, that's perfect. That is perfect.
So
look at I'm looking at him right now. 6'7", 314. I mean, he's got Zach.
That's a big boy.
It's Zach Street meets Terron Armstead written all over him.
Yeah.
That is one big boy.
All right, so we're on the clock for the final pick because we only did 5 rounds. So we got tight end Durham Smith from Notre Dame. We got
a tight end. We're good at tight end.
We got a guard, Tony Adams from NC State. We got a name, Joe Noteboom. I like that name, Noteboom.
Oh yeah, he's a guard, right?
He's a tackle.
Yeah.
Or this is a good one, Tijan Koroma from BYU. Can't believe we didn't pick him in the names Ralph can't pronounce draft.
Taysom Hill came from BYU, just saying.
Yeah. So, I mean, what do we got? What do we got here? What do we need? What do we need? What do we need on offense, boys?
I think we go guard, don't you, Dave?
Isn't that what we just took?
No, we need a center. Let's replace Max Unger with a, or at least have a replacement.
That's the name we got. You got Tijon Karoma from BYU.
Yes.
Okay.
Look, just go with the best player available. BPA.
The best offensive player available is Marcel Aitman from Oklahoma State, or Tony Adams. He's a guard from NC State.
Can't you just take a pass rusher?
No.
I know you're
No, it's all offense. We can take a pass rush next week when we do the Let's Break Saints Twitter draft. We got to go.
Is Node Boom still available?
What does he play? Yeah, he's available. He's a tackle. You want to take another tackle?
Yeah.
Dave, are you feeling tackle?
I'm down with it.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like
you can never have too many linemen.
We lost Zach Streif. We've got no one. I mean, Bushrod's a guard now.
Yeah, I think Bushrod making the team is
suspect at best.
Suspect at best.
Take another tackle. Boom. Node Boom.
No, so
done.
So this is our draft. We got DJ Moore, Hayden Hurst, Kyle Laletta, Brandon Parker, Joe Noteboom. That's the all offensive draft. I don't loathe it, but I'm not really excited. I'm just I'm just,
Dude, DJ Moore is going to catch 50 passes. Noteboom, the last guy picked, is going to start 12 games and be awesome. He's going to be tackle eligible and catch a touchdown, guaranteed.
And the Saints will be 3-13.
And Tom Savage will get cut, so you're going to love the rookie quarterback.
I'm excited.
And Hayden Hurst will blow out his ACL and never play again.
I am very excited. Right. I'm very excited in 2020 to watch Kyle Laletta lead Saskatchewan to a CFL title. That'll be fantastic. So that about wraps it up. But like I said, we got fun stuff coming up. We got Eric Galco. We're going to do a special podcast for him. And then next week, we have the Draft Extravaganza, where we do the draft that will break Saints Twitter. We'll discuss it on group text all week and try to come up with a scenario that'll just either make Saints Twitter euphoric and it'll break, or sad and it will break. But we'll think of some scenarios. So
either way, it's breaking.
Either way, it's breaking. We don't know if it'll be crazy. It's probably going to involve some sort of insane trade.
We're trading up. The only thing I can guarantee is that we will not be picking 27th overall.
Well, the thing is that you could make Saints Twitter euphoric, as you could trade if we could somehow finagle a trade down. That would make it euphoric too. So there's all kinds of options for next week. So thanks to everybody for offering their services for better and improved graphics and their constructive criticism. We appreciate that you care.
Even Ralph's cat wants the logo to be changed.
Yeah. We appreciate that you care so much about the show and gave us your feedback. That about wraps it up for today. So for Dave, for Andrew, until next week, the bar is closed.